Dr. James Toliver Craig seemed to have it all. He had been married to his wife Angela for decades, and they had six beautiful children together. James had an outstanding reputation in the oral hygiene community in the Denver, Colorado area, working for over 16 years at the Summerbrook Dental Group. But behind the perfect family facade, it was a completely different story. James and Angela's marriage was tumultuous. James continually had affairs, and Angela continually forgave him. But despite Angela's best efforts, James continued his aberrant treatment of her. James had recently started an affair with an orthodontist from Texas by the name of Karen Kane, and he was going to do whatever it took to get Angela out of his way, even if that meant doing the unthinkable. In the weeks prior to Angela's death, James had been scouring the internet for undetectable ways to kill someone. His searches included undetectable poisons and how many grams of arsenic it would take to kill someone. The searches also included how to make poison, top 5 undetectable poisons that show no signs of foul play, and how to purchase oleander, a poisonous plant. On March 4th, James purchased arsenic and had it delivered to his house. He also purchased $333 worth of olendrin, a derivative of olander. Along with the purchase of arsenic and olendrin, James also purchased potassium cyanide, which he had delivered to his office. According to the affidavit, while James was purchasing poison, he was also booking tickets for Karen to come and visit him. The affidavit went on to state that on the morning of March 6th, James and Angela worked out, and that James had made Angela a pre-workout shake with extra protein because she had been feeling sluggish. After the workout, Angela went to the hospital with complaints of not being able to focus her eyes, feeling dizzy, and feeling sluggish. All of those symptoms were consistent with arsenic poisoning, but unfortunately, that was not on the doctor's radar at that time. Angela was then released from the hospital and sent home. Angela was then hospitalized again from March 9th to March 14th with worsening symptoms and an extreme headache. On March 13th, the potassium cyanide that James had ordered arrived to his office. The office manager who signed for the package noted that it said hazardous materials. They opened the package and discovered a can of potassium cyanide. And later that day, James went to his office to retrieve the canister of potassium cyanide. On March 14th, Angela was released from the hospital into the care of James. On March 15th, James drove Angela to the hospital for the last time. He told hospital staff that Angela had been suffering from extreme headaches, severe dizziness, and constant fatigue. Shortly after arriving to the hospital, Angela's condition rapidly deteriorated. She suffered from a prolonged seizure and was placed on a ventilator in efforts to give her body a much-needed break. However, the damage was already done, and despite hospital staff's best efforts, Angela was declared brain dead a short time later. The whole time Angela was in the hospital up until her death, James had been emailing Karen, alluding to the fact that something had happened to her. Karen told him how sorry she was and wished she could be there to help him, but ultimately did not come for the second trip that he had purchased for her because she did not want to mix with his family and friends and pretend to just be a friend when there was much more going on between them. In the days following Angela's death, the office manager who had received the package for James at the clinic became suspicious and Googled symptoms of cyanide poisoning. They then called a colleague who called James's business partner to ask them for advice on how they should proceed with their suspicions. It was decided that since the nurse the office manager confided in with their concerns was a mandatory reporter, that they had to inform the police, and an investigation ensued. Before James was arrested, his partner confronted him about why he purchased the cyanide. James tried to lie about the reason and stated that Angela had been suicidal and he ordered the cyanide for her. However, he didn't think Angela would actually take it. James even went so far as to compare the alleged story to a game of chicken. On Sunday, March 19th, James was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. He is currently being held without bond, and his status hearing is set for April 7th at 3 p.m. Let me know your thoughts on this heinous act in the comments. And as always, I'll see you next time.